Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Happy Sunday, of course, to you and your family and everyone else that you know. I want to make this video, of course, as per usual, so we can take a look at best practice and big picture, see what's going on, and help us understand kind of what, where we're at now based on yesterday's sell-off. And of course, the day before, Friday and Saturday were not great days for Bitcoin, and we wanted to kind of highlight that. So if you're new to the channel, I love teaching people how to trade. I'm not a financial advisor, but I've been trading for over 16 years. I have a trading academy, community, and signal group where I share everything that I need you to know to become a better trader. So just keep that in mind. That is an option there. And I do also have discounts for military and or third world countries. So please be sure to let me know if you fit that category. And thank you for your service, of course, if so. That being said, take a look here at Bitcoin. Big picture, obviously not doing very well. Okay, that's pretty easy to address. We got this descending trend line. We've got lower highs. We've got lower lows. Pretty much all the telltale signs of a downward trend. Now, we don't have any signs of reversal just yet, so just keep in mind the direction is down, and that is essentially the current situation. Now, we'll take a look at smaller time frames to identify if there is an opportunity for a reversal and what some of the key levels are. But with us testing that support level here at about 37,500, you can tell that there's potential for it to be broken because we're testing it multiple times. In other words, once in the past, twice yesterday, and again today. So I mean, just the bottom line here is that there's nothing great or fantastic about this. RSI is going to remain under 50 for some time until we can break back up above really close to 42,000 and or this trend line. So until we can get back above that trend line, really we have no reason to expect Bitcoin to be bullish. We can anticipate at best case scenario, the price goes sideways for some time. Now it was channeling sideways for a little while, right around 38,000 up to 42. And it held that pretty well. And then, of course, the last week or so, things changed. We broke to the downside, and now there's a strong likelihood we're going to remain down here until we can start making higher highs and higher lows, at the very least on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so again, some things to identify. So just kind of throw it out there really quick. Unless we can get a close above 40,000, this downward trend will likely continue. Okay. And that is just kind of the stark reality of how it is right now. And a lot of altcoins got hammered yesterday too, with Bitcoin dominance increasing. There's a lot of it's an interesting situation going on right now. There's a lot of liquidity. People are closing their positions, and alts are getting hit hard right now. And that's because we're on the precipice of a potential break to the downside, even further than where we're at now. Okay. All right, anyways, let's look at some of the obvious here, of course, and work our way down. 50-day simple moving average is still that point of contention right around 42,200, or no, actually it's evened out about 42,000 now. So simply put, a close above 42,000 inevitably would provide us with some security in the sense that we're moving back up, and we're no longer stuck under this 50-day SMA. I mean, as you can kind of tell, it's kind of holding the price action down, and it'll be a little while before comes back up, right? So just keep in mind that would be a really important thing to start with, is to get above that. Now, on the 4-hour time frame, it would be more important to get over the 50, I would say, initially, just because we've been underneath this for a few days now, actually roughly about a week and a half. We can see the 50-day SMA working as a pretty strong resistance level alongside of this descending type of pattern. Now, you've seen me probably draw ascending patterns in the past, and how the 50-day SMA typically works concurrent with that. Altcoin was like that recently until we had that sell-off yesterday from the metaverse. That being said, though, with the way that things are right now, and you see the price progressing downwards, it's following suit here with the 50-day SMA. Okay, so until we can get back up above the 50-day SMA, we won't have a chance or an option to be able to break this trend and start making higher highs and higher lows. So until that happens, we are going to probably continue to see lower lows and lower highs. Okay, so if this next high isn't any higher than 40,000, once again, we're going to be in a terrible position, or just a position in which the price will likely either come back down, continue to go down, or work its way sideways into this little wedge and then potentially break back up to the upside. Okay, so there's still potential to recover from this. Bitcoin is not in dire straits. I don't think it ever truly will be until we lose, 30,000. But generally speaking, between now and then, we can expect the price to continue to progress lower just based on this significant bearish divergence. We also have, no activity really on the moving average convergence divergence, really just telling us that the momentum is trending down. Keep in mind, we did come close to 30 on the RSI, and anytime you see 30 on the RSI, inevitably the price will recover. Okay. Now, this wasn't much of a recovery, but it's a weekend. So I'm willing to speculate that tomorrow we could see a slight recovery, a relief rally. But if we can't get a one-day candlestick close above 40,000, it's not really going to matter too much. But if we were to just say, for example, get close around 40,500 or something along those lines, then we'd be breaking this previous high, in other words, this previous lower high, and establishing it as a higher high, essentially telling us that the bulls would have more control in that time frame, and there's more likelihood of the price continuing to progress upwards from there. Okay. Again, these are just likelihoods. These are just potential scenarios. For right now, we're seeing low volume over the weekend, essentially, and we're seeing a lot of selling off from altcoins with Bitcoin dominance increasing. So a lot of things are kind of interesting right now. I'm willing to expect that until Bitcoin continues to, or finds its actual bottom, maybe we get a double bottom bounce, or it just pulls its head out of its ass, one or the other. When those things happen, we'll see altcoins start to recover. But for right now, most of them are getting damaged, even the good ones. And the good ones are the profitable coins that everyone's taking their profits on. Okay, it kind of makes sense. Again, you're going to, if in a red market, you're gonna focus on the green. And there's a decent amount of green that got hit here recently. So yesterday was a pretty bad day for a lot of coins. Taking a look at the 1 hour though, Ichimoku cloud still underneath the cloud. We've been like this for quite a few days here now, basically 3 days in a row. And even when it broke above, it still wasn't very strong because it didn't make higher highs. It made a lower high essentially, and that is potential problem, of course, to continue things to progress downwards. Now, how much lower can it go from here? It can still continue to go low. We got to keep that in mind. Based on Fibonacci retracement, we could see a price point somewhere in the range of 34.5 to 35,000. That would be the next key level support. Now, granted, you could argue that there's a support at 37,000, 36 when it had its previous lows. That's very true. But Fibonacci essentially is telling us that we've got somewhat of a free fall between here and 34,500. So there is potential, of course, for that to happen. Last thing we kind of want to look at too would be volume based on larger time frames. So let's just go ahead and readdress this and look at this here. Taking a look at the volume over the last, just say, year and a half. We can see the most amount of volume accumulation right at 38,000. That's pretty much exactly where the price point is at right now. So as that continues to build its average, we're building a stronger foundation. So here's the consolation here we got to understand. Yes, while there is definitely potential to continue down and to break this, this descending type of trend to the downside, which would kind of, full on, verify this bear flag pattern, there's also a lot of support in the ranges of 33, 34, 35, and 36,000. And what I mean by support is there's a tremendous amount of volume, and that really kind of helps us understand that with the most amount of volume accumulation at these price points in the recent last year and a half, we have a position where the price action should continue to hold or maintain above that level. Now again, we get down to 32,000, we'll be kind of almost in price discovery mode based on volume, and that would be obviously a different conversation. But I think the probability of that happening, unless there's like a really super strong fundamental catalyst, is fairly low. I would speculate at this point that 30 to 33,000, even though that's kind of a wide range, is going to hold as a pretty strong support. I don't think we're going to see anything lower than 30,000. But again, we got to entertain the idea of the fact that 24,000 is also a possibility. There's no doubt. So we just kind of got to be realistic in the sense that if it could happen, it will, but it shouldn't, if that makes any sense. All right. So again, just keep in mind we're at this important point right now. If we lose 38,000, just say for example, that could potentially work as a resistance, and we might see the price action stay underneath that if we break down to this lower tier. But for now, once again, not in dire straits, just making lower lows and lower highs until we can break that trend. There's not much else we can anticipate or expect from Bitcoin in that sense. So pay attention to tomorrow. There is a decent chance we might see a recovery, a bounce back up to 40,000 to try to break that resistance level. But for right now, we can see 40,000 holding strong as a tentative resistance in the last week. Okay. So again, we're not looking terrible, but we're not looking great. All right. And I think we can all attest that based on our altcoins yesterday taking a pretty significant hit. So again, I'll cover some of those here in just a moment, but I do want to thank you so much for joining me here. Of course, if I hopefully explain things correctly, let me know, comment below. If you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is the site, link in the description below. And I do look forward to working with you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon.